On today's video, we're going to go over this Husqvarna 120i cordless electric chainsaw. Hey there, outdoor YouTubers. Well, on today's video, we're going to go over this Husqvarna 120i electric chainsaw. Now, for 20 years, I've been cutting firewood for my house, and the bulk of the heating of my house is done with that firewood. I also cut firewood for my off-grid deer camp, and then there's always that occasional tree across the road or a deer blind lane that needs opening up. For all these jobs, I've always used a gas chainsaw. But I know that the battery technology has gotten a lot better, and I've heard some really good things about battery-powered chainsaws. So I thought I'd give one a try. I've always liked my Husqvarna gas-powered chainsaw, so I went ahead and got the Husqvarna 120i battery-powered chainsaw. Now, let me be clear. This is a real chainsaw. This isn't just some glorified shrub trimmer. It has a 14-inch bar, and it also has the typical chainsaw chain on it. It is definitely meant for cutting trees and branches. Now, the package that I purchased came with the chainsaw, one battery, a charger, and a bar cover. And the price was $220. The battery just kind of drops in from the top, and the battery also has this light indicator to tell you how much the battery is charged. This saw does come with a safety kickback bar, just like on most gas-powered chainsaws. So if the saw kicks back on you, this bar engages and it stops the saw. Now, of course, this 120i does not use gas, but it does use bar oil, just like a gas-powered chainsaw does. But one cool thing about this saw is that the bar oil has a little sight glass right here on the side of the saw, so you can see how much bar oil is in it. And that's kind of different than other saws that I've had in the past, where you actually have to open up the fill cap to see how much bar oil is inside. Another interesting thing about this saw is you can adjust the chain tension without the use of tools. You just kind of flip this open, okay? Loosen it up. And then right here is the chain tension adjustment. Once you get it where you want it, open this back up, tighten it down, and you're good to go. Another thing that I like about this 120i is that it is lighter than other 14-inch bar gas-powered chainsaws that I've owned in the past. So that kind of helps with the fatigue while you're cutting. To start this 120i, you push this button right here, and that essentially puts it into standby mode. Then, to start the chain, you have to push this safety button in, and then you can pull the trigger, and the chainsaw starts. So, it would be pretty difficult to accidentally start this chainsaw. This 120i does have an economy mode, okay? You press this start button to get the saw into standby mode. Then you can press this economy button, and that will actually lower the RPMs of the saw but extend battery life. Well, for me, lowering the RPMs means it's just going to take longer to cut through trees and branches. And when it comes to cutting wood, you know, that's work, and I want to get that done as fast as I safely can. So I really don't use that economy mode when I'm cutting wood, but for some people it might be a nice feature. Now, before we get into how much wood this 120i will cut with a fully charged battery, I want to take a quick time out with a word from my one and only sponsor, Camaro's Crawlers. Hey, are you guys going to be deer hunting this fall? Because if you are, you're going to want to head down to Camaro's Crawlers. My buddy, Ronnie Camaro, the owner of Camaro's Crawlers, he still has his bait shop down in the basement of his parents' house where he lives, but he is really starting to carry a lot more products for the deer hunters too. Again this fall, Camaro's Crawlers will be carrying promiscuous doe deer urine. Promiscuous doe is the only deer urine taken from the most sexually active does. Make that big buck think it's a sure thing. Use promiscuous doe deer urine. Ronnie will also be carrying Last Supper deer corn. Last Supper deer corn is the only deer corn infused with caffeine to keep those big bucks moving all day, and Last Supper deer corn is also the only deer corn infused with Viagra to keep those bucks in the active rut stage all day long. And for you deer hunters that are going to be staying at deer camp this fall, Ronnie is also going to be selling firewood. Be sure to keep that deer camp nice and toasty warm with Camaro's Crawlers firewood. Now, you guys know Ronnie Camaro, right? He only drives Camaros. He's got a summer Camaro. He's got a winter Camaro. But he does deliver the firewood to within 50 miles of the bait shop. Now, Ronnie is getting $25 for a Camaro load of firewood, but he does have discounts for multiple loads. And for you deer hunters that need to get your Michigan deer hunting license, be sure to stop into Camaro's Crawlers, and Ronnie will direct you to a store that sells hunting licenses. The Wi-Fi in Ronnie's parents' basement isn't fast enough to get one of those license machines, so Camaro's Crawlers has all your hunting and fishing needs covered. Now, on several occasions, I've gone out with this 120i and I've cut a truckload of firewood with plenty of battery power to spare. Now, let me preface this by saying that when I cut this firewood, I am cutting tops that are already on the ground, okay, so I'm not cutting trees down, and also I'm only cutting these tops small enough so they fit in the back of the truck. Then I'll take those lengths and I'll cut them down to wood stove size when I'm back at my house. So one day we decided to take a fully charged battery and just start cutting those sticks down to wood stove sized pieces until the battery was dead. And here's the pile that we got. As you can see, that's quite a bit of firewood. Now, we just had this saw in its regular mode, the higher RPM mode. We did not have it in that economy mode. You know, like I said earlier, when I'm cutting firewood or my wife's cutting firewood, we just want to get it done as fast as we safely can, so we just keep it in the regular mode. The bottom line is, I really do like this saw. It's perfect for spot use. A tree across the road, trimming up a lane at your deer blind, or just cutting a small load of firewood. And of course, the other nice thing about using an electric saw for spot use is that it's very easy to start compared to a gas-powered chainsaw. Now, if I'm going to be out cutting down trees and cutting them into wood stove length for the better part of a day, I'm still going to be sticking with my gas chainsaw. If you were going to do that kind of work with this battery-powered chainsaw, you probably would need 3 or 4 spare batteries on hand. But for spot use, I would recommend this saw to anybody. And guys, definitely keep in mind that watching this video is not a substitute for reading the manual, okay? Read through this manual good, make sure you're doing everything safe and correct before you go out and use this saw. Now, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to like and subscribe. And also, remember to hunt, fish, laugh, repeat. This is Dave Knetter from Knetter's Practical Outdoors. Hey, thanks for watching and God bless.